This is the Louie Tee Network.
Then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs.
In the lab.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee? Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me on this playoff edition of In the Lab Room, breaking down Wildcard weekend. I don't know if there's a better weekend in all of the National Football League than this one here. I've already broken down the AFC matchups in Wildcard weekend that will take place on Saturday. Now let's jump into the NFC matchups that will get underway on Sunday, starting with the frigid cold temperatures in Minnesota. Vikings at home, hosting a home playoff game as the number 3 seed in the NFC, taking on the 6th-seeded, two-time NFC Conference champion, Seattle Seahawks. This is going to be a very interesting game. First and foremost, for any of you fans, women, men, children of all ages, that are going to attend this game, salute. You, my friends, are warriors. They're calling for 0 degrees at kickoff, and you're probably, with the wind chill factor added in, you're probably talking about -5 degrees, okay? We're talking, anytime you get under 20 degrees, I'm out. You got me. I tap out. So, for any of you die-hard Minnesota Viking fans, and I know that stadium is probably still going to be filled to capacity, kudos to you. This is exactly why the Vikings need an indoor stadium. They need to hurry up and finish building that new stadium, because this can't happen, okay? Look, I don't know how this game is going to turn out, but you can't tell me the product isn't going to be affected by the temperatures in this game. They're saying that this could be the coldest, one of the coldest, for sure. I don't know if it's going to be the coldest. I remember that AFC Championship game with the Bengals and the Chargers was pretty damn cold. Ken Anderson and company took care of the Chargers, and Dan Fouts and company. I don't know if this game is going to be that cold, but damn it, it's going to be cold, that's for sure. But let's talk about this football game. Vikings come in as the 3 seed, won the NFC North division over the Green Bay Packers in Week 17, finished up at 11-5. This is a team right now, I think they might be the most confident of the season right now. They feel good about where they are defensively. They're getting their players back, a lot of healthy bodies. At some point or another during the course of the season, Harrison Smith, Anthony Barr, Linval Joseph, all these guys were down with injuries. And so now you feel like you got everybody back, all hands on deck. This is a football team now that you think they're ready to take that next step. And look, they won the division. That's a step in itself, but now it's time to really become a real player in the NFC. And if you want to do that, beat the man. And in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And everybody's giving the Seahawks the moniker of the team you don't want to play in the NFC. Well, obviously the Vikings wanted to play these guys because they went out and won the NFC North. And as a competitor, as a player, you never want to lose a football game. You want to win the division. You want to be called division champs. Well, this is the consolation prize for winning the division. You get the Seattle Seahawks, and they trounced this Vikings team 38-7 earlier in the season in Minnesota. This is going to be a different ball game. I think they're going to make some adjustments. They're going to be more prepared to stop Russell Wilson in that offensive passing attack. And I don't know if you're going to really be able to throw the football with any. And Russell Wilson, huge hands, going to really do him some justice in this football game. I think this is when you're going to see what he's really made of as well, because I think these cold weather games with the wind, I think the wind is going to be a factor in this game. Really don't know how well the passing game is going to benefit these two teams. Now we're going to see who can run the football, who can stop the run, and who can limit the amount of mistakes made in this football game. All of those reasons that I just talked about, I think swings this game in the favor of the Seahawks, because you trust Russell Wilson to not turn the football over. You trust that Seahawks defense to be able to stop Adrian Peterson, because you don't trust Teddy Bridgewater to be able to put the game on his shoulders and win them a football game if need be. Whereas with Seattle, Russell Wilson has had to carry this team over the last month and a half of the season with no Marshawn Lynch and no Thomas Rawls. So you know he can do it. This team has went to 2 straight Super Bowls representing the NFC. He's played outstanding football and gotten them in positions. Yeah, he's had his struggles along the way, but he's overcome them, and he's been the quarterback that they signed long term and gave all that money to in Seattle. And because you feel like they have the edge at the quarterback position, because you like that defense in Seattle, and they're just hitting their stride and they're playing good football now, and they should be able to stop Adrian Peterson and make that Vikings team one-dimensional. Because of all of those things, because you think, look, I watched Teddy Bridgewater throw a left-handed interception last week. I don't trust Teddy Bridgewater. And because of those factors, you gotta feel good about where the Seahawks are in this football game, but it's cold. Okay, I can't stress that enough, and I'm not saying the Seahawks can't play in cold weather, but it's going to be cold. Very cold. That's going to impact the outcome of this game. The passing game, I think, is going to be affected by the wind. Field goal kicking could be of the utmost importance. There could be some misses, and that could give field position. There could be some turnovers. There could be a lot of things that generally don't happen in a football game, but because of the weather, that it could impact this game and alter the outcome. Anything is possible in this game. I think the Vikings, they are a team that I wasn't sure was ready for this moment, this spot. And I'm still not convinced that they're ready for this spot, but they went out to beat Green Bay. But I don't know if that was as much a product of Green Bay and their struggles or Minnesota and just how good they are and how far they've come. I'm not sure. I'm still kind of having an internal struggle with their Week 17 win. At the end of the day, they won the division. They're at home. I just don't trust those guys yet. In this kind of spot, playing that team, the Seattle Seahawks, they just know how to get it done this time of the year, whether they're on the road or at home. And I think they're going to go to Minnesota. This is going to be an ugly game. I really expect this to be a low-scoring affair, which bodes well for the Vikings, because if this game is 16-17, if this game is 19-16, if this game is 16-13, they got a shot, okay? The more points that are scored, the less likely it is this Vikings team is going to win. And because it's going to be so damn cold, I got to expect this score to be low. And I think the Vikings have a shot. They can force a turnover or two, get a short field, and convert short fields into touchdowns. And when they get into the red zone, score touchdowns, not kick field goals, they got a shot. But I'm hedging my bets on the 2-time NFC champion Seattle Seahawks in this one. Give me the Seahawks to go to Minnesota, win the football game, and set up an epic matchup in the divisional round versus the Carolina Panthers. A rematch that we're all salivating and chomping at the bit to get our hands on. Love to see that football game, but I think the Vikings may have something to say about that. We'll see. I'm taking Seattle in this one, 19-13 over the Minnesota Vikings. You move on to the afternoon capper, the last game of Wildcard weekend, one that you know I'll have a very, very vested interest in. The Washington Redskins, the number 4 seed in the NFC, hosting the Green Bay Packers, the number 5 seed in the NFC playoffs. And this is a game that I'm going to talk a lot about in depth as to how the Redskins can get it done in my Bow and Go for that football game. But let me just break this game down and talk about some things here. I'll start with the Packers and the way that they can win this football game. And first and foremost, they got Aaron Rodgers. Right there, that gives them a legitimate shot. I don't give a damn that receivers aren't winning. I don't care that the offensive line is banged up. I don't care that Sam Shields isn't playing. I don't care that they got a bunch of injuries to a bunch of guys that matter. I don't care. They got Aaron Rodgers, okay? And as long as that man is under center, they have a legitimate shot. That being said, they need to run the football. If they can establish any type of run game, and the Redskins have not been great at stopping the run all season long. If they can establish Eddie Lacy, if they can establish James Starks, if they can get a screen game going, they've been very good at the screen game of late. If they can get some screens and pop 1 or 2 of those for some big chunk plays, this Packers team has a legitimate shot of winning this game. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the onus, I'm putting it right squarely in the lap of head coach Mike McCarthy. You have been given all of the accolades for calling plays and the success of this offense, of course, along with Aaron Rodgers. Here's an opportunity, okay? No Jordan Nelson. You've known that all season long. You know your receivers are struggling to separate. You know what teams have been doing, and you playing a lot of press man-to-man coverage. I don't know if the Redskins are going to do that or not. They haven't done a lot of that this season. Whatever the case may be, it's up to Mike McCarthy. I'm putting this in your lap. Devise a scheme that puts Aaron Rodgers and this offense in the best position to win. And I'm not saying that you don't do that each and every single week, but you have to do a better job. You have guys that can make plays, especially Randall Cobb. I'm not a firm believer that Randall Cobb just isn't good, okay? And yes, I know he's not a number one receiver, but he's a guy that you can put in the backfield. He's a guy that you can send in the jet sweep motion. He's a guy that you can run bubble screens with. He's a guy that's dangerous out in space, so why not get him out in space? They need to devise ways to get guys to football. That hitch route with Devontae Adams, it's dead, okay? It's dead, I tell you. Stop doing it, okay? It's not getting you 5 and 6 and 7 yards like it was last year. No one's playing off of these guys. They're playing up in their face, so you can't throw these little hitches and expect him to break a tackle and make some guys miss and get big chunk plays out of that. You have to start running your little rub plays, set guys up in positions to make plays and be playmakers. They're not separating one-on-one. They're not creating separation. Help them create separation. You have to get creative. I'm putting it on Mike McCarthy to devise a game plan to take advantage of this Redskins defense, put their players in positions to win, and allow Aaron Rodgers to slice and dice this Redskins defense. That being said, defensively, the Redskins are red hot right now. And it'd be in their best interest, A, to stop the run like everyone else has done against the Redskins. But the Redskins have evolved offensively to the point where they don't need the run game. It's nice if it's working, but if it doesn't, they are not afraid to turn Kirk Cousins loose and allow him to chuck it 45 times. So if you're the Green Bay Packers, you must take a page out of the Cowboys' book and disrupt Kirk Cousins in the offense early. Get them out of a rhythm, hit Kirk Cousins, make him a little nervous and antsy in the pocket. If you can do that early in the ball game, get him off of his rhythm and timing, you have a shot to disrupt this Redskins offense, put them in some uncomfortable third and long situations. They have done a great job of converting those of late, but again, you don't want as an offense to be in third and long very often. You got to get them off the field on third downs and give yourself a shot. And look, this is Kirk Cousins and Jay Gruden's first playoff game. Go out and take it to these guys. That's where the Packers have the advantage. They've been here, they've done this before. Redskins have not. They've got some players that have done that and been in the postseason before, but they don't have, the key guys don't have a lot of playoff experience, namely Kirk Cousins and head coach Jay Gruden. So this is an opportunity to go out, force the issue, force Kirk Cousins to make some tough throws. See if you can't bat one in the air, pick it off, give yourself a shot. Offensively, the Packers must score points. They have struggled in that department of late. If they think they're going to win this game 20-17, 17-16, 19-16, they're wrong. The Redskins are scoring points. They're scoring 24, they're scoring 27, they're scoring 31, they're scoring 34. If you're going to win this game, you're going to have to score some points. If you can get to 27, you got a legitimate shot at winning this game. But if you can't score north of 24, you're probably not going to win in this ball game unless the defense comes out, balls out, forces some turnovers, and gives the offense short fields and opportunities to score. On the Redskins side of things, they just got to continue to do what they've been doing. Look, you can't expect them to continue to force turnovers at the alarming rate that they have of late. They've been just forcing turnovers in bunches. Another 2 or 3 turnovers forced in the Cowboys game that season finale versus the Cowboys. They forced 2 more in the Philly game. They've been on a turnover binge of late, okay? You can't expect that to happen. Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw interceptions, and those guys generally don't put the football on the carpet. So I wouldn't be expecting that. What you have to do defensively is get off the field on third down. Stop the run first and foremost. Do not allow the running game to be a crutch for Aaron Rodgers. The offense is struggling. Keep it that way by stopping the run, putting them in third and long situations, and getting consistent pressure on Rodgers. You don't necessarily have to sack him, but do not let him out of the pocket and extend the play. He's one of the best extend the play quarterbacks in the entire National Football League. Keep him in the pocket, keep him uncomfortable, keep him restless. You have a shot to get them off the field on third downs and force them to punt. Offensively, To me, it's simple. Continue to do what you've been doing over the last 8 games of the season. It's really simple. Kirk Cousins has been razor sharp. The playmakers have been making plays. The offensive line has been protecting. If you can run the football in this game, hey, the more, the better, all the merrier. But if you can't run the football, no sense in banging your head up against a brick wall. Take advantage of some opportunities. The Packers will give you some opportunities to split guys out and have one-on-one matchups that are favorable. If Jordan Reed has ISO on a guy, win. Throw him the football, let him do what he does. If you get a back out of the backfield and Jake Ryan is covering him, like the Vikings were able to isolate their running back, the secret weapon, on Jake Ryan one-on-one, and Teddy Bridgewater just simply missed. If you get an opportunity like that with Chris Thompson on Jake Ryan, you got to hit that play and make them pay for thinking they can match up a slow linebacker on a speedy back. So there are opportunities that will come about in this game. If you get a chance to hit D-Jacks on the deep ball, take it. Pierre Garçon has been solid. Jamison Crowder, another weapon. There are weapons on this football team. Just continue to utilize these guys, spread the wealth as they've done all season long. If the Redskins continue to score the football at the rate they've been scoring over the last 5 or 6 weeks, they're going to win this football game against the Green Bay Packers, and I feel that is exactly what is going to happen. I think the Redskins are going to continue their offensive onslaught, score 30 in this game, and beat the Green Bay Packers 30-20 in this football game and advance to the divisional round versus the Arizona Cardinals. That is the NFC side of things in Wildcard Weekend. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, they cover it all here in the lab. We'll come back and join me as I continue to break down anything. And everything. National Football League. Bart Scott. Can't wait. Enjoy the festivities. You know. You already know. I will. I'll see you after the game.
There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie Tee, be sure to follow me on Twitter at In The Lab Room, or you can like the Facebook page at In The Lab Room. That's In The Lab Room on Facebook and at In The Lab Room on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.
Then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs.
In the lab.